Good morning, good morning. Get started in about 10 minutes. Wait for people to get in here. Good morning, morning.
Time waits for no one, it quickly passes by. Fleeting moments, quick like the blink of an eye. While living, I'm learning, this world just keeps on turning. Time waits for no one, it's burning away like rays from the sun. And when the ones you love slowly fade to gray, never to come back another day. Play every single memory while holding back the tears.
Pakistan. Good morning from New York.
Hold back the years. I can't live my days in fear. How they pass by, how they pass, how they pass by. With the blink of an eye. With the blink of an eye. The blink of an eye. With the blink of
Starting about 5 minutes. Once people get in here, we'll do our live analysis. We'll do our thing.
I realize each day is sacred, and a blessing can't let it go. Wasted, I can't fill my soul with hatred. This is the life that I'm creating. I can't hold back the years. I can't live my days in fear. And how they pass by, how they pass, how they pass by. The blink of an eye. Oh, the blink of an eye.
Morning, good morning. All right, I just posted in the Discord. Almost forgot. Good old saxophone solo, right? That's a nice one. I mixed the song. Morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Tuesday, September 21st. We're still out here. All right. Anthony, hey, good morning. Thanks. That song was in my head today. I recorded that song 10 years ago. No, actually, I just mixed it. I didn't record it. It was stuck in my head today. That's how I pick which song to play. I want to hear that song. So let's see what's going on today. Checking the news. Checking news for today. No high impact. All light stuff scheduled today. Tuesday, September 21st. So we had some light stuff earlier that came and went. Pound a couple hours ago. Getting into U.S. session now. We have light stuff. Building permits. Housing starts. All that stuff. It's listed as light impact. Who knows how much it's going to affect things. But I know that the housing market is in a little bit of a jam with costs of supplies and shortages, which raise the cost of supplies. Why is that? Lack of supply. It's more demand than supply for supplies and wood, things you need for houses. So we have an imbalance, don't we? High demand, low supply. So prices are up. But, I don't know, it's listed as light impact, whatever. That is in 14 minutes. So we'll see what happens on that. Besides that, today we have all light stuff again. Australia in a couple hours. It's a light news day. Taking a quick look at the rest of the week. Morning, good morning. Oh, we have interest rates coming up. A whole bunch of them, right? So tomorrow's U.S. It's the day before interest rate decision today. Okay. Now it has meaning. Thursday is interest rate UK and Euro, some Euro countries. Yeah, okay, it's interest rate decision week. Friday, Fed chair speaks. All right, so it's that kind of week. To the charts. Morning. You finally caught me live. Yeah, I just do it at random times, so you never know when you catch me. Very welcome for the videos. Cool. Great. Awesome. Monique, good to hear. Let's see where we are. Getting caught up here. Yesterday, of course, we had some down moves generally in markets. Just seeing how correlated we still are. And we have a very clear, obvious lower low, lower high structure. The trend is down, and we're not seeing any reason to go against that. That's all you got to know. Obviously, the structure is, it's clear to see that we're in a downtrend. But if we look at some of the high volume points, let's look at day before yesterday. High volume leading to lower prices as a result. This is not any sort of strength coming in. Yes, there was some buying here, but that came and went. And the fact that it was able to continue on such low volume tells you really lack of any buy activity through here. So very, very bearish. Finally, it found a little something yesterday. We'll get in there and see, but we're not looking at any real, climactic or any high volume at all in these lower prices attracting demand buyers. This up move was probably full of weakness if we look at the smaller time frame. But again, if any real buying was interested, we'd see activity coming in at low prices for that. We'll get in there and see this, but it's a mix of buying and selling here. But, that's after the fact that these lower prices already had come in and shown a lack of any real buy interest there. So it's strong US dollar, strong yen, making everything bearish. Very simple. No reason to be buying. I guess I should back out and see what's down here. Okay, so in the big picture, daily chart I just use for the really simple overview, see what levels are around. Very simply put here, we're likely going to support before anything else. And if there's going to be any buying that would turn this around, it would likely be down here. Putting aside that tomorrow is the interest rate decision, and that could sort of, whatever happens on that could set things going forward. But that's tomorrow. So we're likely getting here before anything else. If we have any sort of up moves, there could be weakness, opportunity to sell into it. But there's nothing really else to do back here. Obviously, if you look at a short, you just want to know what levels you may be hitting as support to the left. Right now, that's all I'm worried about. What's back here? Couple of levels, whatever. So yeah, it's a matter of getting short in whatever way you see fit, I suppose. I have a couple of ways. Really complicated analysis today, right? Where's smart money position from? Higher prices. From the last couple of days and the down moves. Are they looking to get out of these positions? No, we don't see that. We don't see high volume demand. Are they holding these positions short? Yes, certainly. Are they taking advantage of sell opportunities to add to the positions? That would be seen as weakness on up moves. And we'll get into the smaller time frame and look at that. Just want to know what's to the left here. Okay. Whatever. More coffee. Cheers. Welcome. All right. So to the 1 hour chart now. Pete, do the thing. I'm going to do the thing right here. He did it. He did the thing. Just made a video on this. What do you know? So this is a good place to start looking for shorts. Let's see what's going on in there. Need my box. Delete. Ugh, feels laggy. So this is an easy one during a downtrend, drawing this fib. And we have a support to resistance there too. Doesn't hurt to see that. If we touch that, we almost got there. And let's get in there and see what's going on already. there is that news in 7 minutes. We'll see what that looks like and then take it from there. But moving up here, this is going to tell us about sell activity, right? Well, where's our London Open? You hear the fire trucks? But probably not. Sounds very New York City out here. But here's where we hit the fib zone. We had some increase in volume, not a ton, as far as showing a sell activity to get short, right? That really starts to show up here and reveal how much selling is going on. We have a bit of an increase. And then we got this. So, and news is in 6 minutes. So let's see. Probably, yeah, the ideal. Let's see what happens after news before anything, right? I wouldn't mind seeing this. And then clearly getting weakness somewhere in here. If we can get above there and really get rejected on weakness and really see that that's the plan here. And look to short. That's the immediate possibility here. So, pretty textbook stuff. I wouldn't mind popping up there. That would really just help clarify the whole thing. Now, where is all this activity coming from? 8:15. Did I have the news time wrong? Because that looks like news. 1 second. Nope. It's in 5 minutes. That was not news. Sort of just came out of nowhere, huh? Let me check a different broker. And there it is. I like how the indicator's giving me opposite colors from the two different brokers. Don't trade off the colors. I never said do that. All right. But the reason I say this is, again, this showed some sell activity that's not going to make me excited to, oh, I got to get in short now, right? And then here we just have all this activity out of nowhere, no news. Maybe something went on, breaking news. I don't know. You tell me. But again, if we can get up here, we can kind of do another find out about sellers thing, test for sellers up here, and get something a little cleaner. If the news can bring us up there and then kind of we're done with news, it's not even that high impact, and then go from there and see if there's a short set of weakness, lack of demand. Right? We just want to know that it's looking like it wants to do this. If not, right, we'll be able to get through here without weakness, and then that will really change things. Who knows what they're going to do at that point. We'll take it from there if that's the case. But that's the expected route here. If we can get up there, that would make things very clean. If not, we'll take it from there, see what's going on. See what makes sense. But again, very bearish, of course. Strong US dollar, strong yen. For me, it's a question of where, how. I want to go short. Again, the main thing is, very, very simply put, if you're seeing an obvious trend, intraday trend, and it's something strong like this to the downside, and you're not seeing demand coming in at lower prices, accumulation, right? Rejection off the low, off higher volume. The volumes are in some of these higher prices. They're not in the lower prices. Really, again, very simple. When you end the day at the low, and you're just hanging out down here in low volume, that's as bearish as you can get going into the next day. Right? No rejection whatsoever down here. Just holding on to these short positions. No demand showing up. And again, if you get supply, you're likely going there trying to break it, right? So again, I always like to mark up what would be ideal in this current situation. And then if that happens, great. If not, then we'll take it from there and see what that means. So in this case, again, higher prices would be ideal. Getting into U.S. session, showing weakness could be a fake break pattern. It could even really spike up and get rejected on weakness, and that would be ideal there. Obviously, a fib is higher up in this case, which is possible. we have enough demand to get it up there. That would kick a lot of people out, sure, wouldn't it? But that would take some buying to get it there. Don't know if it can get that high. Pretty straightforward stuff today. Are we doing the crash thing? It's crash season. It doesn't happen most 9 out of 10 years, but it does happen. It would usually be around now. Let's not even get into fundamentals of the economy. Let's not even. It looks bad. It's very bad. I always say, though, don't bet on the crash. You know how much I'm right? Don't bet on the crash. Oh, here we go. It's gone. Nah. When you see it, you'll know. Otherwise, go on with your life. Trade. That's what I say. I'm not betting on the crash. 9.9 times out of 10, I'm right to not bet on the crash. Am I buying cryptos at this lower level? Yes, I am. I'm not betting on the crash. If it happens, it happens. I'll know. Right? Oh, the cryptos are crashing. No, they're not. If this wasn't here and this wasn't here and we were seeing weakness, I'd say, oh, hold on a second. Looks like the same old game to me, right? Buy low, sell high. Don't bet on the crash. If it happens, how much are you going to lose compared to what you've been making? Not betting on the crash. But it seems a little more likely. Huh? Yeah. See how things go this season. Back to my proper broker. Doing charts here. All right. Strong U.S. dollar, strong yen. Looking to go short. Get rid of that. Toga says crash will happen. Yeah, probably. It's almost like it's, yeah. Oh, see, you're baiting me. You got to take advantage of it. You can't let a good crisis go to waste, right? Isn't that the saying? All right. The yen pairs are going to be exactly the same thing. After I mark this up, taking my sweet old time marking up these fibs, we'll get in there and look at the details of how things are behaving today at the levels we've seen so far and get the information. Taking my sweet ass time with the fibs. Good morning, good morning. Again, previous support to resistance is good to mark too. It's a point at which we'll tell you about sellers. It's all in there. Okay. And this guy's drawing fibs all day. Something about his own. I don't know. A weirdo. You like my Fib Zone video? Basics of my trading series? I think people are going to like it. The good thing about those videos I'm making now, and I'm putting them into a playlist, if you're watching the live sessions, you haven't bought my course or anything like that, watch those videos and you know what the heck I'm doing here. That's free. I do also things besides fibs, I promise. One more, guys. All right. Pete, why do you use auto fibs? Because they suck. They don't do it right. They don't draw them like I would. Need some better AI to draw auto fibs. So again, we have fib areas that are a bit high up. I don't know if we can get that high up there, but the next best opportunity pattern-wise would be fake breakouts of the high of the day so far here. Again, we want to see that prices don't belong, so to speak, higher up, and they get sold into, followed by lack of demand. You have your high probability down move from that point. Maybe we're going to go, hit some stops on short positions and pop up there for a good opportunity. That would be ideal. All right. 5-minute chart. News was 4 minutes ago. It was not high impact, so we're done with news. This was not news. This is the news candle here. So that's not very eventful, but we got the U.S. Open. We got plenty of time here to see. So to kind of summarize, Anthony, very good, cool. For me, I'm like, I've said this a million times, but it's not organized in like a playlist, and it's not a big deal for me to make a 10-minute video and just explain the basics and put it together like that on different topics. Too soon for music in the doobie? All right. It's cold. A little chilly out here. I got my space heater out. All right. So we want to be going short. The thing, there's no reason to be going long. And really the way I'm going about it here is, again, higher prices could show us weakness, could show us something more straightforward, pre-positioning short that we haven't really seen so much today. We know big money is short. We know it's bearish. But as far as getting into fresh positions for today, expecting a leg down, seeing an imbalance, high supply, low demand, not so much. Did not show up on the chart. Did not. So ideally, that's the case. If we move up, we could start seeing weakness. If we move down, right, there's only so many options. So if we move up, especially into new high ground for the day, simplest way in here is to get rejected and look for that short. If it wants to do a leg up or whatever, some of these higher fibs, that's fine too. No way, in this situation, I'm buying maybe a scalp type of thing, but I'd rather be just looking to sell here. That's if we move up. What are the options? If we move down the other direction, there's two. That's where I would look for scalp entries, meaning the 14 EMA rejection. A lot of you know what I'm talking about there. Basically, the way of getting in without expecting a retracement. And that would happen because we're just starting to move down and really seeing lack of demand and seeing a nice lower low, lower high on the 5-minute. Maybe we see weakness along with that lack of demand. Then we could just go. Remember, we don't need to see weakness for it to make sense that it moves down. We're already bearish. It can move down at any point, and that would be totally logical. I think the one weird thing that would happen today is we just move up, trend up all day. We don't hit weakness, and it's just sort of a non-event up move. Either they're going to sell into it, or they're going to dump their positions, and you get strength. And hopefully tomorrow, being interest rate decision for U.S. is not going to cause too much, hesitancy here today, and we can get some real moves. But we're starting tomorrow. We're going to get all the interest rate decisions coming up. And of course, that's one of the biggest movers on the chart and important pieces of news. So being that that's tomorrow is not ideal, but so what? Whatever the chart says, I'll do. If they're confident and they're not worried about it, there's clean stuff going on, then so be it. I'll join in. If it's choppy, sloppy mess, okay, tomorrow we'll work things out. But again, very bearish, higher prices and weakness. I would look to go short off of that. If this sort of mess that just happened here, pre-news, not on news, I don't know what that's about. But as far as if things move down, and that's kind of annoying. What a mess right there. Because I was going to say, if we see lower prices and we're not seeing demand, right, and we're starting to really trend down, then we may not be able to go up and see weakness. We're just continuing this bearish environment here. That would not be surprising. But to have this anomalous weirdness pre-news, right, gives us new low ground, kind of low. Like we got to wait for this because of this one big-ass candle. Some of them are a little not so bad, like this one. A little better. As far as getting below there and seeing what's going on. So, again, ideally, I do want to sell into up moves and weakness. If, again, the other side of it is if we go down, starting from this point, getting past that previous swing, and even now in the pattern, and if we can get lower and just test this little swing point, it's telling us about buyers. If we break through here on low volume, the lower it is, the less buy activity there is. And that could kick off, a down move in maybe waves here, which could give a 14 EMA scalp entry, if nothing else, if we can't get regular weakness stuff. Yes, exactly. The FOMC, I think there's a statement Friday. The interest rate decisions start tomorrow, and then the next day is UK and Europe. And it's interest rate decision time. Which I don't even get into and think about. It's whatever the chart says. So the best you could hope for, of course, let's say tomorrow off that decision, U.S. interest rate is going to be high activity, high volume activity. The best thing is if it creates a clear background, whether it's weakness or strength, seeing what happened on that high volume and what was the result. Where did it happen? How did it happen? And even though it's news, you can still get a very straightforward, typical pattern or whatever, and then work off of that. But it's those kind of things that could change things. Like it could turn around and turn bullish, right? And it's high volume leading to higher prices, or high volume strength into lower prices, showing things are changing and turning bullish. That could more easily happen on these things. Let's see what goes on here as far as any demand coming in at these lower prices, if we're going to break that. What I'd probably look to do, again, this volume weirdness, it was not on news. Let's see what's going on. Let it settle and be normal again. We are normal. If this is low volume here, I don't think I'm going to jump in short off of that, but maybe we can start doing this and get a 14 EMA sort of scalp entry or a break test. Some of you know this stuff. The 14 EMA can come through here. Maybe we get weakness here, a lack of demand here, and that's an opportunity. But really we'd have to see a lack of demand into these prices for me to think this is going to now start trending down. And that would be shown by low volume. and price becoming accepted. If it's high volume and we're seeing rejections, there's still some demand in here, and maybe there's hope for some higher prices and weakness in that more traditional entry. So that kind of clarifies what I'm looking for. There's really lack of demand. We just start trending down, and I'm convinced I'll look to go short. And if we pop up and hit the weakness, I'll look to go short off of that. The only thing that would make me buy, again, would be very high volume strength, shown on a 1 hour chart. You think the market drop out the early seller, then should we, as in like kick out, hit their stop? The market drop out the early sellers, right? And then show weakness. Yep. That's kind of the textbook move right now, yeah. That's what all the traders that know what they're doing are saying. Can we do this, please? And all the traders that are short prematurely are going to get kicked out as we go into new high ground. And basically their shorts as they close end up as long positions, which we sell into. It gives smart money larger positions that they can get in at a better price. Basically a trick to steal your food. Lots of stop losses up there, right? Lots of stop losses. Don't hate the player, hate the game. All right. We're coming for you. Nobody here, right? Okay. Hope not. Yeah, who knows? Again, it's so bearish, I wouldn't be surprised if we can't get up there. That's just kind of the ideal template sort of thing today. That pop up in weakness. But I'm good with that. Moving up and seeing that for short opportunity, or just having such lack of demand, we just start trending down and finding a way in, if that is obviously the case on the chart. Same stuff, different day, right? What else? In my opinion, this is one of the silliest things I've ever seen. Let me back out here. I'll show you. Let's go to the daily chart. 4 hours, fine. Daily chart. This is one of the silliest things I have ever seen. So every time there's a panic sell-off, it gets bought into. Let the market come down. How is it this easily controlled? Go here. This whole range. Like what are the extreme, high momentum moves? They're all to the downside, downside, down, down. And they get hit with this. I mean, is that still, are we doing some Federal Reserve buying program still? What the heck? Let it come down. Stop it. That's all I got to say. Silliness. But I guess as long as whoever's doing that has your back, I guess you shouldn't be selling, huh? But yeah, markets are disconnected from reality. We have known that for a while. Joe, how are you? Do you mainly trade off the 5 minute? What time frame is your? Basically, it's the detailed stuff is on the 5 minute, because it's to get in there and see some of the details. But typically, I'm looking at the daily chart for really simple levels, support, resistance, fib. 1 hour chart gives me my background, so to speak. Looking at volume in our or Wyckoff phase, or are we accumulation, distribution, markup, markdown. It gives me my background, direction, where's big money position from, in what direction, right? So that works off the 1 hour chart. And once I have those and draw some levels off of that, then I have it all in context. Okay, what's going on the 5 minute chart? Now I have details considering that situation. So if we go to this level or that level, in context of this background, I can see what's going on with more detail. So by after I do the initial analysis, I'm typically just on the 5 minute chart. I mean, for intraday trading, I don't see why anything else would be better, because it's all the same information. It's just how you lay it out on the chart in front of you, right? It's all the same data. Whether you want to look at it closely at detail, or you want to step back and look at an overview. Really about price areas, not time frames, and what happens at these price areas there, especially the important ones. It's nice to see what happens in a whole hour in a price area, but then it's also nice to see that same price area on a 5 minute chart and see, okay, exactly what happened where, because that's a 1 hour candle, and we don't get all the detail about what's in there. Need a coffee refill. Be back in a minute. Very bearish conditions. For now, I'm looking to go short. Either weakness on up moves, or if there's a real lack of demand into lower prices, things start trending down, then I'll consider a short entry in that way. We had this weird volume, which is not on news, 15 minutes before news, and then the news was kind of flat. And we're done with news. So some of them got a little sloppy here. But up move and weakness would probably just clean everything up. What do we have here? Strong yen. Okay. Fine. At least we went somewhere now. Okay. So, we'll see what goes on with these prices where we may, if we can't move up and get our weakness, end up seeing, I'll use this one as the example. If we can see lower prices without demand, which is not the case here, seeing lower prices getting accepted on lower the better volume, then I would look to take the next leg down. It's likely doing this sort of thing. But right now there's way too much volume. What is it, the second or third highest volume of the day into new low ground that we haven't seen in many hours. And if we get a bullish reaction here, that's going to tell us there's some buying coming in. Let's see if we can accept these lower prices and really expect that we're trending down from here. If not, we get some strength, we could pop back up and get stuck here. Wouldn't want to be going short. And of course, it may lead to the high. If we can see some demand, it may just lead to that higher price weakness thing. But as a first piece of information here, new low ground tells you about buy activity. It's there. And we can look at the 1 minute chart, right? It's all about price areas, not time frames. 1 minute chart into new low ground, which tells you about buyers. Starts right there, and there's the volume. So factually speaking there, that is not just a lot more selling than buying breakout thing. And you see here this small candle. This is now into the new low ground stuff. Little candle here, right? Didn't do much as far as price movement, but the volume, from a 1 minute point of view, was the highest in 30 minutes or whatever. So it's a mix of buying and selling, which includes buying, which means I'm not shorting right now. Not that this is a spot I would get in, but it's really lower prices getting accepted without this higher volume stuff that says, okay, there's such lack of demand that we're likely going to start moving down. So that's not a safe short by any means, in my opinion. But that's EJ. Generally, we have this, give or take. This is going into the support. This again. Showing a bit too much volume for me to say, okay, this thing is just likely now going to support. Maybe likely going to support, but not a trade I would jump into. If we can, again, see the lower prices on decreased volume, the lower the better, then it becomes suddenly much more likely to get to that support. And we could even get it here, right? If this candle, for example, closes down, volume stays low and it closes down, right? And then we do another wave up, reject the 14 EMA, you see the certain rejection activity, then it's likely going to support. And that's at least an entry that can get you somewhere profit-wise quickly, and then manage it from there. If it's breaking through, great. Maybe put your stop at break even, take some off. And at least you're going with the background in the right direction at that point. But that's not what I would want to see, of course, going short. See what it may end up being. This is about to close in a minute, less than a minute. Sign of strength, perhaps. So in this very bearish environment, are these lower prices actually bringing in some buying? A bit, yes, would be the answer. Again, here we're talking about this. If we can get below here and see what's going on, right? It's going to tell us about buyers. And it's not any huge volume, but it's a decent amount of volume. And you see the price reject and reject twice, right? Is this a market that has very little buying? And definitely not. I don't know if you could see that there. And tried twice. So that gives a bit more hope, right, for the up move and weakness and the textbook short, hopefully. There's no news to throw things off today, but there's big news tomorrow, which hopefully doesn't make things sort of sit around and kind of wait today. But I think we'll have some kind of moves going on for U.S. session today. It's September 21st, crying out loud. Chart's supposed to be moving, even without news. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Subscribe, this and that and the other. Hit the bell. Use my G Fuel code. I don't have a G Fuel code. Why don't you follow news closely? Because I'm going to be trading off whatever's going on in the chart. That's all I trust. Because, there's never fake news, first of all. It's all definitely real. But, yeah, I'm a chartist. I definitely cannot make any. Sandy boy, you're a little late. No, it's all good. We're here for a while. You know what I'm saying, Coco, though? I'm just going to trade what's on the chart regardless. Typically, the best times to buy is when the news is saying panic. And the best time to sell is when the news is saying things are good. But as far as like numbers and fundamentals, I don't know. Maybe if I was swing trading forex, maybe. But intraday stuff, there could be really good news for the pound, and then it's trending down all day because the U.S. dollar is strong. Because why? Because it is, All right. As I said there, we saw it here. Let's just check through it. A bit of buying showing up in this very bearish environment. I'm not going long, but it's at least telling me for the moment I don't want to go short. And that's seen by... The yen is very strong, though. The yen is really pushing things. But on the dollar pairs, then, first of all, that's seen by the lower prices showing higher volume rejection. Even if it continues down, it's telling me that it's not really a lack of buying situation. It's just more selling than buying, sort of fighting it, rather than a good imbalance of low demand. And there was some buying here earlier. As bearish as this looks like it wants to break, that to me is not trustworthy. But the yen pairs, like I said, as soon as we can see lower prices accepted on some regular volume, maybe we're going to get that here. Then I would more aggressively look to short. So those of you who have my scalp course, you know what I'm talking about. You know the scalp entries. The lower the volume is right off of these lows, the better. So that's not looking so great right now, considering that. Factual information, right? Again, just so everyone understands, it's not complicated. This candle is not that big. It's a regular size candle, right? Same size as This one, these really low volume ones, right? Maybe a little bit. It's a small candle. Why is the volume so high? And it didn't really go anywhere with all that market activity. Because it's a mix of buying and selling in similar amounts. It wasn't really an imbalance. There's a high activity in both directions. So knowing that just happened, does that give you a high probability projection from that point? Right? No. Obviously, the best way to best highest probability move is an imbalance, a lack of one and high activity from the other. Not both active or both inactive. It could easily show up very soon, but we're not seeing it now, right? Again, here. Looks so bearish, but as it went into this new low ground, initially, we got this increase in volume and it closed off the low. Again, if we can finally, as a result, close down, those buyers could be sucked in and that's fine. And it's gone. And we can finally, again, not see that as we start to move down. Then things change from, ideally looking for up moves and weakness to me trying to find a way to get into this thing. Scalp entry. Very strong yen. So these buyers are just getting run over. It would be better if they weren't there for a bearish projection, but they are, and they're getting run over. U.S. dollar, not quite as strong as the yen as far as pushing everything down. Sandy boy, we just trying to... Well, like I was just saying, I'm not a fundy guy. I know they're having their... What is that? Evergrande something? What is that? They're the Chinese equivalent of Fannie Mae? It's a governmental quasi not, but is... loan thing. I have no fundamental opinion of that. Yep. Nope. It's whatever the chart says to me. I have no thoughts. Predicting what the US dollar is going to do based on a fundamental situation in China is not my territory. Evergrande? Yeah, no, this is... I vaguely know the situation. Coco, yes, you're on the case. I don't trust, and at this point, having said, I've always been that way, but at this point, I don't trust any of it. That's it. All the world's a stage. All the news is fake. You have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going on in China with their economy. I wouldn't trust one thing they say. I wouldn't trust one thing anybody on television tells me about it at this point. Yeah, I'm that guy. Bearish conditions. Looking for me personally, looking for the best opportunity to go short. According to my rules, no reason to be buying today. Big money is short, holding those positions. If it's just going to run off, let's see if there's finally lack of any fighting this move, lack of demand. to give us a real projection that we're just going to continue down for a while. And again, I'm showing these examples here where there's certainly just factual information. Doesn't mean it has to bounce, but there was some buy activity at this price level. Where are we on the bigger deal here? 1 hour chart. Yesterday's low. And there was the fake break in the weakness early. Happened early. That's the thing. And when I got here, we're here. I'm saying, okay, if we can get a double top so I can get those prices again. But that is that weakness just playing out. Well, I'll either find my way in short or I won't. I'm not going to break any rules or anything. What do we got here? Oh, we did it this time. See if we can get a clean, obvious trending move that we really expect to continue. Still kind of choppy, sloppy. Ah, there you go. And there you go. So now, we got into new low ground. That's a pretty big candle. And look at the low volume. Why is that candle big and the volume's low? Lack of demand. It didn't take that much selling to cover that amount of ground because of the lack of demand. It didn't take a lot of selling to push it down. Those orders to get filled had to go lower. Very little demand. I can also think of it as a opposite of the sign of a sign of strength, right? It's not high volume there. So that's the first sign that maybe the buyers are backing off and giving up. Okay. We could have a situation here. It's not the cleanest, and this is just weirdness back here. This was not on news. I don't know what this is about, but at least we're clearing up here and getting that straightforward information about lack of buyers now. So there could be a deal where we move up, maybe even see a quick weakness, but it's not necessary. But now we're likely to break this low, and if maybe we can get into this sort of flowing waves. Which I guess we are. That's just a weird spot. But besides that, we are, right? Clearly lower lows, lower highs. And it's nice to see lack of activity here, finally. So that's on AU. Let's see. AJ, same thing. Okay. Very good. Now we see it. Right, this could have been, all right, this is the highest volume in an hour. Oh, that was 30 minutes. Highest volume in 30 minutes right here. Which could potentially have been a strength fake breakout. But this, again, now we're accepting it. We didn't confirm strength by definition on the next candle because it closed down. Right? We don't see the strength coming in. So again, here could be something more aggressive, not expecting higher prices to come in. Is it visible on the charts yet? Right, it's the Lehman Brothers situation, the Chinese version, yeah. Visible on the charts. The U.S. dollar is very strong, and the yen is even stronger for the moment, but they're both very strong. Until further notice. That's what's driving everything. If it changes, we'll see. The chart will say so, but definitely not yet. Really, you're $1? Chop, chop, chop. All right, fine. 15 minutes. Maybe the U.S. dollar is going to figure itself out. But this is something I would consider as far as a scalp entry. Now that we've seen this decreased volume down here. Any buying, again, the buying that went on in this area, it came and went, right? It didn't lead to confirmed strength. This price area, they got the buy orders in, and now it's quiet. They're not pushing it up. They're not accumulating in any way. We're seeing lack of demand down here. We're sitting at the low price, decreased volume. So that's very bearish now. All right, here's the part where I finally open my trading platform because I'm very patient. I'm trading with IG now. So my old broker, they finally reinstated my account, right? And then all of a sudden, like none of it happened, I got an email starting the process all over again. We need to verify your information. Oh my God. I just went through 2 weeks of answering these questions over and over again. Please give me my account back. They do it, and then I get the auto email again. Some of your information may be out of date. Like, holy shit, leave me alone. What the hell? I guess I'm sticking with IG. Very likely a real breakout here. Right? Really finally saw the lack of demand. And it could go in a straight line, but, you know, things tend to go in waves. Depends on what you're comfortable with. But once those buyers disappeared here, or at least backed off enough, we'll see if this closes again down into new low ground. All right, the lower the better on volume, telling us it's a real deal move. Pretty high probability that's a real break here to the downside. What's back there? Yeah, likely going to support. It doesn't mean it has to go in a straight line, but it could. But I could see easily, you know, a couple of 5-minute waves going on throughout there to get it down there. What else? Yeah, the price action here is just weird. We don't have the cleanest stuff right now, do we? It's 5 candles all in the same price area. It's not exactly a flowing move here, but we are seeing lower prices, starting to see decreased volume. Looks like the bearish move might be happening from this point. Again here, lower prices, yeah, starting to lose the activity. Again, we know the big money is short in the last couple of days. If we don't see an opportunity for them to be selling into it, showing weakness, the other cause of a down move here could just be simply lack of demand at lower prices, and we just continue. Maybe get a little volume here. And the yen, like I said, has been even stronger, so that thing's going. Again, after that, finally seeing these lower prices accept a lower volume. That's when it can really just drop. support over here. It's yesterday's low. Yeah, it's a timing thing, and that's kind of the way it's been. That's the way it can be sometimes. Simple overview here, right? The weakness in this bearish environment took place here earlier. Oh, that was actually after London Open, so it wasn't that early. Okay. But by the time I got here, I was saying, well, maybe we can do another double top or something. But if things are just taking off, that was the chance. But yeah, now it's kind of the rug's been pulled out or something. Demand is not very active here, so we may just go. This guy, all right, a bit. Yeah, maybe on the dollar as well, but all it takes is for some of these buyers to back off even more, and it's just gonna drop. Looks like these yen pairs are gonna get to support pretty soon. Yep. And there we go. Almost. So these yen pairs made it to support or within a pip or two. What the heck is that line? Fib. And again, here at support, we'll get a read on buyers there. But unless we see some high volume to stop this, no reason to be buying, even at support. Euro, see if it can go. Again, just to understand this at this point, it's choppy, sloppy, but factually, if it gets below this level, the lower the volume, the more likely it is a real breakout. With a very bearish background. which is shown on the 1 hour chart. Again, this try wasn't bad here. Yeah, I'm waiting for the dollar pairs likely to just start moving down too. Yeah, kind of. It's just the yen is so strong that these guys are going. And the next piece of information, let's see what happens at support. If you're short already on a yen pair, right, it'll be very telling. We're almost there. Very telling as far as if it's going to break that level or not, seeing the reaction. The hell is this thing drawn from? The port. It's here. Yeah, there's a bunch of other ones. Fine. This is actually yesterday's low, isn't it? So we want to go with that, yeah. What do we look at for any something interesting now? Again, these lower prices, as I pointed out, when they finally showed lack of demand, especially the yens, really the yens, that's when things are just likely going to drop. And again, it should lead to support. Dollar pairs don't have such a clear bearish situation. Again, here, a bit of buying. Maybe your dollar can't even get out. More likely to break to the downside here. Again, if we get a candle close below this level on low volume, it's very, very likely a real breakout. We may even stop and pause at this level and finally not see the bounce and see, sort of a no demand activity leading to a break. If for some reason suddenly buyers do pop up in large amounts, then okay, maybe it's the weakness on the up move thing. More likely to break, but we'll see what it says. So at this point, the yen pairs are so bearish. If at any point, keeping in mind where support is, for those of you who know the scalp entries, this would be a proper time to look for that. Keeping in mind that support is there, but so far not showing much of an issue there. So maybe we get a 14 EMA test and then go for the actual support and try to get below it and see what goes on. And that in itself would be the scalp entry. Now there were some earlier, so maybe you're already short from those entries. This was kind of weird and wacky, so I didn't take this. Definitely not after that wackiness. All right. Looks like the Australian dollar is particularly weak. Second would be the pound. Third would be the euro. But all of them are weak compared to the US dollar and yen. Don't need a fancy strength indicator thingy to tell you that. Fancy schmancy currency strength indicator. Anybody using that? Don't do that. But I'll tell you. Yen is the strongest. US dollar is the second strongest. Then you got the euro. Then you got the pound. Then you got the Australian dollar. That's strongest to weakest. No indicator needed. If that's not what your indicator says, change it. Fix it. Or don't use it. And that's not really predictive. That's going off of where we are at the moment. But likely to continue in that way unless we see something suggesting otherwise. Zero Hedge? I heard of them. I'm sure I know them. Okay. So Zero Hedge could be is a legit news source, says Coco. Commentators are pretty good at predicting things. So really, you're not a fan of Bloomberg, huh? Oh, God. And away we go. We never get the direction wrong, do we, for the day? We can at least say that. It's never wrong. Then you get those days where it's not a high probability prediction. Oh, there goes the euro trying to keep up with everybody. Again, the closer this candle can close to the low, and the lower the volume is on this candle, the more likely it is a real breakout and going to start trending down. It's that important right there. And we have the open. We're going to get a little increase in activity now just because of the time, but we'll see what that tells us. AJ at support, seeing a bit of buying finally there. But that was the idea, was as far as the short-term predictions here, once we saw this, right, then we knew we were getting to support. Highly, highly likely. Not depending on how you trade, if that's an entry or not for you, but it's not that many pips, but what it does do is get you in a position where you could see the reaction here, and maybe if you see something that you don't like that, potential strength, and you move your stop to break even. No harm done. But we are going to just get a bit of increase in activity now because of the time of day. So let's see. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, here comes the strength, right? Let's see. Euro, are you doing it? The euro is just not as weak as the others. It's really struggling to move down. But that's what I've been saying. It's probably the strongest of the bunch. Journalists paid off. Yeah, of course. Wouldn't be surprised. Or maybe their lives threatened. Who knows? What drives them to lie to the world? Then you just go on TV and lie. You're all prepared. You got your lies all straightened out. You got notes. And you know that your lie is word for word going to be the same as other people's lies because they're all... It's foul. Popping up off of some activity. See on the open. Let's see what it does. But we have our answer to support showing some activity. Again, it's a little exaggerated because of the time of day, but there it is. New low ground. And the fake break. Give me 1 second, I'll be back. All right. Oh, I'm on the 1 minute. Again, who's buying the euro? Stop it. Actually, don't stop, because then we can short off weakness up here, if that's going to be the case. You can go in the wrong direction. All right, so we finally hit a bit of strength. You see in the previous 5-minute candle. The next piece of information is if we test this 14 EMA, some of these support to resistance, it's going to tell us about sell activity. If it holds that structure of falling from these areas, it's might go for the low again and try to break that. Really? Must be a really great positive outlook there. It's just good times are here again, huh? Damn, the most stubborn market I've ever seen. Reminds me of 2008, before October crash happened. We used to joke. News goes up. The price goes up on bad news. Price goes up on good news. Buy on news. Just buy. Ha ha ha. Buy all the dips. Ignore reality. Ha ha ha. That was 2008. I'm not kidding. That was the joke. Goes up on bad news. Goes up on good news. Goes up on no news. Just buy. Nothing to do with reality. And then we know what happened after that. Yeah, good question there. if a short opportunity arises, would you short the weakest pair or the one with the best setup? Considering both really. The 5 minute situation to get in, the cleaner the better. That matters. But also considering, if it's a AJ or AU based on the yen and the US dollar, which one is better to sell against? Or, if it's a euro dollar short versus an AU short, maybe I'll take the Australian dollar one if they look very similar because that's the weaker one right now. So yeah, just considering all those factors. So both, yeah, the cleanliness of the setup on the 5 minute and the background situation, yeah. Weigh it out and pick the best one. Or, you could spread it around. Smaller positions on 2 pairs, which I do sometimes. $14 EMA, test for sellers. Can even go to the 1 minute. It's about price areas, not time frames. That would be here. There's your sell activity on a 1 minute. Fair amount. Again, this is the open, so the volume's a bit exaggerated. And then we dropped off, and now we got that pop up there and the weakness shown. The seller's still around. They didn't get freaked out or anything. Yeah, it's just kind of weird here with this. This was not news, and you got to factor this into your situation, which is just annoying. And that here you have the open volume, so that's going to be high. It's a bit less than ideal because of that, as far as trying to get straightforward information. But again, we did notice certain things that say, yeah, we're just going to go like this low volume here. And then now we may get confirmation of weakness again here. But just the idea, one of my point is the idea of avoiding, if you're going to go aggressively short, avoiding high volume demand. Again, you have the open volume, so it's a sort of a, let's just get past that thing, but it happens to be annoyingly right there right now. And then this madness, whatever the hell that was, not on news. We don't have just a regular flowing chart. But you got to go back to the basics, which is the background is very bearish. And we're likely to continue down unless we really see an issue with demand. And the retracements did take place earlier, before I was here, And you can see some of that stuff. Weakness. So it's a bit behind maybe an ideal higher entry, but we could have gotten another double top, but not on the end pairs. All right. We'll see what develops from here, especially when volume starts to chill out off of the open. So, are you doing this euro? It's like, I'm going to try again. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm here. See how things develop. Hopefully my rambling is at least helpful for you. Again, I did just upload a video, educational video that I'm adding to the playlist. I'll be doing more of that. I think that's going to be very helpful. All right, I'm here. I'm hanging. Back in a minute.
I still read the letters you wrote to me now and then. You're convinced I'm responsible, sorry to offend. Can you pardon me for I've sinned? I'll remain this way till the end. Suffering in this pit I have chosen to call my home. She's not like you, you were the maker of dreams untold. Please believe in me, aforesaid. I lied once before, that was then. Please forgive me when sorrow calls you love me. I left you lost in all. My heart's still yearning and no further fall. Can you hear me when sorrow calls? Please arrest the devil of shame living in my mind. Only you have the flair of service, you're so divine. Still embracing the memory of the woman you'll always be. Please forgive me when sorrow calls you love
It's like we're just seeing a bit more buy activity than we would want. It's still bearish. It's hard to get consistent lack of demand here. Selling is active. Looking for a rejection off of this area for it to try to make a new low. Again, this is exaggerated off the open volume, but yet we got to deal with that. Again, I could easily just say, well, there's higher volume into high prices, showing some weakness, so we come down off of this area now. But it's just higher volume because of the time of day. It's staying high, though, so let's see. Maybe we can confirm weakness here. This will be likely to move down if we can have this close down off of this high volume, for example. Get on the other side of the 14 EMA again. Then it's likely going to try to continue. There's about 25 pips of support if that happens. Again, it's not ideal because of the timing, this weirdness, but that's what we're dealing with today. This whole thing could be cleaner, but that's the hand we got. Still absolutely no reason to be buying. It's about whatever kind of short you're comfortable with, in my opinion. So far, I'm right. Very light news day, but tomorrow starts the interest rate stuff. Let's see, is there anything else today? Light stuff, yeah, in 35 minutes. Light news, Australia. All right, nothing big there. It's all about tomorrow, fundamentally. So what can I say at this moment? Not much else to add. We know where we are. I would not be buying, only looking to sell. I may be short already, I may not. I stopped giving signals a little while ago. Hopefully this is all helpful. Check out the new video. But this, I mean, I have this marked, but it's questionable because, again, the activity off the low, and that's mainly why. I'd say more likely to test that low before anything else, though. To get these actually to support. Get that exact. It's supposed to snap, right? If I use that. Yeah, whatever. Doing it wrong, man. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, we actually did touch it if I updated. Yeah. Yeah, so let's go for it again then. Double dip. So yeah, I'm going to add more videos to the series. What should I do next? What do you think about that naked trading guide and no indicators? There's a guy called Naked Trader. I'm guessing. I don't know. No indicators. Yeah, sure. I guess it's better than too many indicators. Yeah, it's quite possible. I don't know. I'll have to look this stuff up. And the news source you were telling me about too, I'm going to check it out. But I don't think I know the guy. And trading without any, like no volume, no nothing. I don't know. I tried nothing but volume, and I missed things. I started bringing them back, a long time ago. Choppy market, no clear idea, but overall bearish. Yes, sir. I agree. No reason to be buying. It's just a matter of how, when, where you want to go short. Agreed. Smart money is short from the last few days. They're holding those positions. That we are dealing with some demand coming in, but it hasn't really panned out to be anything. Sellers keep showing up. If we can get rid of some of these pesky buyers, we could just drop. But they're hanging around. But yeah, it's a matter of however you're comfortable with going short in this environment. Till further notice. Yeah, I mean, since the open, it's U.S., it's been really a mix of buying and selling down here. Just like evenly high volume all around without much progress, especially the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. Just kind of sitting around here on higher volume. So it's a mix of activity. Obviously, if it was mostly buying or mostly selling, we would be able to move out of this price area. But as I said, more likely to test support before anything else. Background tends to play out. There's a reason we care about it. But ideally, there would be less demand. Yes. How did you learn the correlations between different pairs? Observation. Could you recommend some places or topics to start that kind of fundamental research? Nope. Maybe it's somewhere, but yeah, I've heard it all about correlation and how this rubber band effect or some kind of crap. There's nothing I can point you at really to study that the way I believe it should be taught and explained. I mean, generally, there is no inherent value to a currency. It's all relative to something else. Rule number one. Rule number two. 80% of the time, give or take, the US dollar and the yen are driving the whole market. They're both strong right now, which is why we have everything bearish. So relative to that, everything's weak. That typically creates a cleaner environment when those are running the show. If they're a little flat and then you got some pound action and some euro action doing this and that, it tends to be not as clean of a market. High probability of a trade. Is that rule number two? So then you have, like we talked about today, knowing that the US dollar and yen strength is making everything bearish. Now getting into more detail of each one, if you look as I'm pointing, what are the charts saying about individually, right? And we were seeing, the weakest is the Australian dollar, but then probably the pound, and then the least weak was the euro. Just the way things have been behaving so far today and the information we got. And then if you're going to go off and look at, let's say, euro pound, for me, I can just tell you what I do. I don't trade this. I don't trade dollar CAD. I don't trade dollar yen, right? Again, if the dollar and yen are driving the market, I want to see what they're doing relative to each other. They could be completely ranging sideways, but meanwhile pushing everything else in one direction because similar to each other, they're similar. And they tend to be sometimes. So things could be trending, but the dollar yen is not trending. Because relative to each other, the US dollar and the yen are equally, give or take, strong or equally weak. That's the basis of the whole thing here. And then I can look at the euro pound and say, okay, if I'm looking to short, and I'm not sure if I'm taking a euro pound, a euro short, euro dollar, let's say, or a pound dollar short, I can always look at the euro pound chart, see what's going on between the two. That helps you decide. It's not like some great, amazing information, but it's something. But that's logical, right? To check and kind of take the dollar and the yen out of the equation and look at the euro pound. For example, if you're considering taking something on either of those. That's kind of the basis for everything. If you watch the behavior and knowing that stuff, it should all just start to make sense after a while. Maybe I'll do a video on that. That's a good one for a video. I'll just take what I just said and edit it into a video. So when you see something going on, strength, weakness, whatever, you can figure out what the cause of that is, you know? If you're seeing weakness on euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar, all to some extent showing a sign of weak or whatever it is, some similarity, then you know it's US dollar driven. Maybe go to the yen pairs and it's not there. Okay, so the US dollar and the yen are not so correlated today in how they're driving things, right? So it all comes out of what I explained. Good question. That's all there is to know. Am I missing anything? So you really get an understanding of why you're taking something. Maybe another example, using that information, I'm not adding to it anymore. What I explained is it. So let's say I'm looking to go short, and nothing is really setting up and nothing is confirming that I should be going short, let's say. But then all of a sudden, and maybe there's some euro news, but all of a sudden the euro dollar is giving me there's a short setup right there. Right? And nothing else is saying short right at the moment. That's not the cause of really typically why I'm looking to get into a trade. It's the US dollar yen strength that would make me want to short, start off of that as a base. So if you see weakness on the euro dollar and nowhere else, let's say, right, then okay, the euro's doing this thing. It's a euro thing. And maybe that's not good enough for me to get short. I want to see sort of similar behavior, knowing that the US dollar or the yen is starting to kick in and be the cause of what I'm seeing, not a, one-off euro thing to get me into the trade. It doesn't mean I don't ever consider that stuff. But that wouldn't be really usually a good enough reason to get in. It's something to consider, though, and it could help make a decision. Does that help? Again, all this stuff's recorded. The live stream will be up. You can always go back and listen. Whoever's short right now, congratulations. You clicked the right button. All right. I got a little action going on personally. I'm going to see if I'm going to do any management of these trades. I have to say, in all these live streams, we have not gotten the direction wrong. One day. Not one day. Trade entries, I stopped calling. But, I go right up to it. It's the next best thing, right? Teach a man to fish, right? Okay. All right, looking good. Looking good. I'm on this new IG app. Make sure I know what I'm doing here. Okay. Well, that works. Yeah. Yeah, the closing of the partial position thing. Seeing how straightforward that is on this app. Basically what I'm doing is, to close partial position is buying. So if I'm short, buying and setting the lot size appropriately. So, if I want to close half of the lots that I have, I buy to close my half of my short position. The weird thing is on the euro, it's only the euro. IG is showing me my profit loss and all that in euros, not in US dollars. The hell, why are you doing that? That's probably a setting I got to do. I know how many euros I'm up. Luke, I'll definitely have to replay what you said a few times. Yeah, literally, I should probably just take that and make that a video, just so people can, it's all right there. Have it sink in. Again, it goes back to what's driving the moves. That's the extra level information that you have. Be informed. What's driving things? What's making this stuff happen? You can figure it out by the correlation tells you. And again, it's usually the dollar and the yen. So looking at new low ground, how much demand are we running into? Not much. We're generally just higher volume since the U.S. session, but you know, if it dropped off here and we had lower volume on this candle here, closing at the low on low volume, we would probably just have another big fat red candle right after it. And we can look again at the 1 minute because it's about price areas, not time frames. And there's a bit of buying, right? But then it really drops off down here. We're still pretty low and dropping off, so. But we can't say there wasn't, you know, something here because it did stop the move. Maybe a little break test or something, whatever. All right. What can we say at this point? Demand is still hanging around. That's annoying. But obviously it was all about selling today. If you are short on anything, you're probably looking good. We've been saying this from the beginning. No reason to buy. And yeah, the information right now is, yeah, there's still some buying hanging around. You know, it's like a 7 out of 10. It looks like, oh, maybe it's going to free fall or something if you're just looking at price. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10, right? It's a bearish background, but yeah, these buyers. And again, we're seeing also some aggressive markdown selling. So it's not a perfect 10, but yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty good. But you see it. New low ground just tends to hit that activity and stop the move every time. And that's a very straightforward, small time frame way of knowing about buy activity. Again, if this candle was low volume, this one probably would have just made it to support. Well, whoever's buying, I don't know. What's the matter with you? Stop it. They probably want to get out of some of these short positions, which comes in as demand as we go into interest rate decision tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Either way, though, if you shorted today, as we've been talking about, you're in a good position. Manage the trade accordingly. drink. All right, I'm here hanging out. Any questions, let me know. That's where we are right now.
I need some peace of mind. I learned late life ain't always kind. Still, you make the best of it. But you never give up, never quit. Curse out this world, who gives a shit? Get a punching bag to hit, but let it out, let it out. Yeah. I have not found my chosen path. You see, it isn't tricky like math. I put all my faith into God's hands. One day I'll find my promised land. Just believe in life and then you can. One day, someday, you'll stumble on your path. Let out the pain because it stays in. You got nothing to gain. Let out the lies and schemes. They will bring unpleasant dreams. Let out the pain because it stays in. It's gonna drive you insane. Let out the lies and schemes. They will bring unpleasant dreams. Eventually, we all see the realization of this wondrous world and life, and all the real complications. There are some we can't escape. It feels like a never-ending chase. Whatever you want, it is what you make it. Just for 1 minute, would you open your eyes and see your potential? Just for 1 minute, not shield to conceal your identity. You are beautiful, just like an exotic animal. I'm gonna open your eyes, oh, yeah. Let out the pain because it's let it down. You got nothing to gain. Let it out now. Let out the lies and schemes. Come on, hey. Gotta let out the pain because it stays in. It's gonna drive you insane, you know. Let out the lies and schemes. Let out the pain because it stays in. You got nothing to gain. Let out the pain because it stays in. It's gonna drive you insane. You ain't got nothing to gain.
Let's go.
Unpleasant dreams.
Let's do it.
buckle up, 'cause now it's up in my head. Am I dreaming? I'm ripped apart by all the words that you said. Am I seeing?
Yeah, man.
With those pretty eyes. But baby, it's your tongue with the bite. Now I am taking the road.
Let's go. Pete getting emotional? All right. What else is there to say? If you're a seller, congratulations. Those buyers just go away. You're gonna keep getting run over, maybe, so you might want to stop. At this point, hopefully you're looking at something decent, profit-wise. Looks like the euro finally saw some new low ground on really low volume. Right, price areas. There was buying here, stopped the move, showed a lot of strength. Second time around, nowhere to be seen. It says we're likely to continue down, even if you get a move up, you're still likely to break here soon. Well, as I said, shorting in whatever way you see fit. I always think of the line, what movie is it? Lord of the Rings? Go die in whatever way you see fit. Yeah. It was the steward. The battle was coming. He said, go die in whatever way you see fit. Today was go short in whatever way you see fit. At this point, is you may want to manage it in whatever way you see fit. Maybe lower your risk or whatever. Coco, have a good one. Yeah, I'll probably end it soon. My work is done here. I might get a copyright strike on that song. I forgot. All right, I'll call it a day. I'm already burnt. Just a matter of managing short positions. And there could be an opportunity later if things do move up again, an opportunity to maybe short off weakness, whatever. But yeah, it's just a matter of managing things now. So that'll be it. Type in the website again. At least one time, only once. There are courses there. There are free YouTube videos. I'm making new ones. Check them out. And that's that. I'll see you soon, maybe tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good one.